Hi, this is Micornus Phokane, the leader and the founder of Church Governance Solutions. Today I want to embark on common causes of church breakaways because we have started seeing a lot of churches breaking away. We have seen like a lot of churches that are breaking away and others are opening churches with members of the main church and things like that. Now, a church is not a political setup, and we've seen a lot of political parties breaking away and so on. A church is not a political party, but yet we know that churches break away. And I want to look at reasons why many churches break away, because then maybe some of these reasons we may be able to avoid, we may be able to take cognizance of, and in the meantime, work against those to make sure that churches don't just easily break away for the sake of breaking away. Now, I want us to look at those reasons and see if we can be able to avoid some of those. The first reason that I want to speak about that is common in church breakaway is power struggles among leaders. There are those power mongers in the churches, leaders that are hungry for power, leaders that are in the church, yet they cannot submit amongst each other. Those that feel they must be also recognized like any other. And if they are not given platforms to be shown and be displayed, because some want to be displayed in the midst of people. And then because of that, they start fighting for power. And we have seen this happening in many churches, and even those churches that are having a lot of money amongst them, they actually have power struggle because they are fighting for the power, and sometimes not only power to be recognized, but power because of money in the seat of power. And we have seen that happening several times. And churches break away because people don't want to submit one to another. Leaders don't want to be submissive enough. They don't want to honor each other, but they want to become leaders that are recognized, all of them. Now, because of power struggle, we have seen a lot of church breakaways. Now, the second reason why you find people that are breaking away as churches is what we call rebellion spirit upon particular leaders. And that actually speaks to exactly what we've just spoken about, that amongst the leadership, there might be some that feel like, I cannot listen to another man, I cannot listen to another lady, I'm a leader by right myself as well. Now, because of that spirit of rebellion, you start actually going out of track, and you start actually garnering some few people that will support you as well. And we have seen that with rebellious spirit, it actually recruits other people into that rebellious spirit as well. We have seen this, what we call rebels in political sphere, whereby people rebel against their political system. And as they rebel, then they recruit other people. Then when we talk about the rebels, we talk about people that are a group of people that are rebelling together. This is not the spirit that starts here. It's the spirit that started with Lucifer. And Lucifer makes sure that he uses the spirit in the churches. Lucifer, who was a very honored angel, a worshiper in heaven. What happened is he rebelled against God because he thought that he is better than God. And he thought that he can be elevated above God. Now, because of that, he rebelled against God and he was kicked out of heaven because of that. Remember that the spirit of rebellion is like the spirit of witchcraft. It's the spirit of lack of submission. It's the spirit of not wanting to listen from somebody else. And that spirit is the spirit of the devil that came along with Lucifer. And when you have that type of spirit, that is going to break churches. And we've seen churches breaking because of the spirit of rebellion. Be careful then, says, about the spirit of rebellion. And it is popular in many churches. And we've seen that popular in many leaders as well. Another reason why churches break away is poor leadership by the visionary. And this is the reason why some of the people start breaking away, because the leader or maybe the visionary is not a good leader. He doesn't have leadership skills. And I want to emphasize that being called by God doesn't necessarily make you a good leader. And I want to emphasize this because many leaders think that just because they are called by God, the Spirit of God will lead them into how to lead the people. And I want you to understand, sir, I want you to understand as a visionary, that you need to shape your skills, because most of the skills of leadership are learned in nature. So they are learned skills. So they are skills that you need to learn either from someone who could be someone that you regard as your mentor, who will teach you the art of leadership, the skills of leadership. And sometimes leadership may be learned by actually attending leadership seminars. And this is very important. And I want to emphasize that those of you who are visionaries, but yet you know that you've got no leadership skills, you need to make sure that you empower yourself. So make sure that you attend conferences, leadership conferences. Make sure that you attend the leadership seminars. Make sure that you read books as well that speaks about leadership. You may shape your skills of leadership by reading books, because there are many leadership books that have been written, and very credible leadership books. And they are very important as well, that you go through them as you empower yourself to become an astute leader. Because it's very important to remember that by just being called by God doesn't necessarily make you a good leader. Now, some of the churches actually break away because the visionary is just not a good leader. The visionary is not having leadership skills, and therefore people go away with those people that are having leadership skills, and churches break in that regard. So please be careful of that. If you are a leader or a visionary, so please empower yourself. Make sure that you've got leadership skills that are good enough. The other thing that is causing church breakaways is factionalism amongst the leaders. Now, they have got faction amongst each other, and they've got some small groups, cliques, that are favoring that leader, not that other one, and whereby this group of people, they are following this particular leader, and that is not actually on in churches, but it is very common. It's not something that is out of the Spirit of God, but that's very common. So we cannot ignore the fact that factionalism, it is there in churches as well. Now, when there are some factions amongst the leaders, that will cause churches split. It will cause churches breakaways, because people will follow the leader that they are associating with. They will follow somebody that they align themselves with. And therefore, in churches, let us destroy the spirit of factionalism. Let there be no factions in the church. Let there not be cliques in the churches. Let there not be big groups and people that isolate themselves to become this type of people. We have seen it is common in churches whereby the rich categorize themselves as rich, the poor along as the poor, those that are educated, they have got their own clique there of degrees and PhDs and master's degrees and so on. And they forget that this is a church and everyone should actually love one another here. But cliques and factions are actually breaking churches a bit more often, and we cannot stop talking about that. So I want you to be aware of that there are people that break away because of factions in the church. The other reason why churches break away is the hero worshipping leaders by the congregation, whereby the congregants, they are actually worshipping certain leaders, hero worshipping. And when they look up to a particular leader amongst the leaders, they really feel this is our hero. And when they start to do that in churches, you're going to start to see breakaways in churches. And I want to emphasize that there should not be a hero in the work of God. There should not be a hero, because the hero then is actually a cult spirit. Is a spirit of occultism that is actually looking up to a leader that we think that when he says something is always true. And we follow that leader, and nobody can debate with the leader. And that is something that breaks churches as well. So we are saying, as congregants, please stop hero worshipping leaders. Because as soon as you do that, you're going to cause factions in the church, and we're going to start to see breakaways as well. And that must be warned in churches. The other thing that is problematic in churches that is causing splits and breakaways in churches is opening branches without proper management of those branches, without proper strategies of how to manage the branches. We have said in the past lessons, we spoke about when you're opening branches, you must have proper structures. When you open branches, there must be proper administration. When you open branches, there must be capacity of leadership that will lead the branches as well. Now, in the absence of those, we have seen that branches get hijacked And therefore, we've seen church breakaways because branches have turned into people's ministries. Those that are clever and they are not submissive enough, those that are actually having the spirit of Lucifer, of rebellion, they are hijacking the very same branch that you have established purely because there's no proper structure, there's no proper leadership, there's no proper administration as well. And they hijack the branch, as we've said in the past. And that makes what we call church splits as well. So please have what we call management strategies that are solid, that are well structured, that will actually make the branch to be managed properly. Otherwise, that branch become the breeding ground of rebellion, the breeding ground of what we call a church split or a church breakaway. Doctrinal differences becomes problematic as well. And we have seen whereby the leadership doesn't agree in certain doctrines. And we have seen many times when people don't agree on doctrinal issues. The leadership then, we have seen that it causes church splits. And many people actually move away, they go and open another church, and some of the followers that believe in the doctrinal beliefs of the particular leader, they follow the leader. And we've seen that happening. And we want to emphasize that let us establish what we call non-compromised doctrines that cannot be compromised. And when we establish those, we know that no one can actually break away because we believe in those same doctrines. So difference in doctrine becomes problematic and also causes church split more often. And let us be cognizant of that as well. Now, also, the other thing that we want to emphasize as we close is that misappropriation of church funds, misappropriation of church finances, misappropriation of church money, it becomes very problematic as well. Because we must know that church funds are actually public funds. And majority, you find that those leaders that don't manage the funds of the people or the finances of the church, they become really people that destroy the church themselves. And I cannot emphasize this enough because we know that many of us have actually missed by breaking, actually, but we have broken churches and we have split the churches because of mismanagement of church funds. And because of that, we've seen people actually walking out of churches because this particular leadership cannot manage the funds. Manage the funds well to avoid church splits as well. And I want to end up here today, your host, Micornus Phokane, the leader and the founder of Church Governance Solutions. We want to remind you of our Facebook page, Micornus Phokane, our Facebook page, Church Governance Solutions. Like those pages, please. Follow us on those pages. Make sure that you click notification buttons as well. We've got a YouTube channel under Young Men Empowerment Forum, and also one under Micornus Phokane. So please make sure that you like those and subscribe to those YouTube channels and make sure that you click notification button as well. We've got a TikTok account as well that may help you. And we have seen that buzzing. We've seen that being followed. And please follow us on our TikTok account. The good Lord will bless you as you do so. Allow me to check out right here and say cheers for now.